Sports' Coach Show. I'm joined by Hanover volleyball coach Melissa Holle. Coach, really appreciate the time and talking with me.
Yeah, not a problem.
So, Coach, I'll ask you this: you're the state champions once again, and so how exciting is that to put another trophy in your guys' mantle case? What is I think third in the last 5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, that's number three in the last 5 years, and we were runner up the last 2 years. And it's exciting to be able to kind of create a dynasty here at Hanover with our volleyball program, and to to let everybody see how hard these girls are working to continue on with their success.
And Lebo is probably your biggest rival in terms of the sport of volleyball and of course in general. So when you play them again in the state championship, does it help when you have played them so many times in big moments like that to, win these big matches like you guys did?
It does because, we're able to see their players year after year. So we know it's still there. And we follow them pretty close during the regular season, anyways, just to kind of see what they've changed and what they're doing. But it does help seeing them over and over again.
So I think your record was 42-1. You guys only
Yes.
won one match all year. What was working so well for you guys to only lose one match all season?
I think it was a dedication to the girls, and they're all very coachable. And, we had an overall goal this season to get back to that state championship game and to face Lebo. And I think just that overall energy of wanting to be there and knowing that we had to take each game all season long as a step to get there and to make ourselves better really pushed us through to that final moment.
So to now, right, Lebo won the last two, and then obviously you guys
Yes.
won some more before that. So to break that streak of them possibly having a three-peat, does that, make it a little bit more sweet that you broke a three-peat and now you guys have your third in the last 5 years?
Well, they broke ours, so we were just repaying the favor to break theirs in return.
So, Coach, if you can kind of explain who were some of those players on your team this year that, really stood out? Were you a younger group, older group? Who really stood out this year for you guys?
We're actually a young group. I had one lone senior on my varsity squad, and that was Anna Juneman. And Anna was the leader on the floor. She really stepped up in practice to really push her teammates. She was effective on the outside. She was a primary defensive player in the back row. And then I had Drew Bruna on the front row, who's just a beast of a middle. That girl can put the ball down where we need it, when we need it. And she's got some big hands. I think she ended with 77 stuff blocks on the season as well. Then I would have to say my libero, Ali Shale. She stepped up. She played 3 rotations of back row last year, and she had some big shoes to fill. I lost Tessa Lozzi, who was my 4-year starting libero. And, Ali stepped up and she put it in her head that, she was going to play 6 rotations of back row and she was going to be the most effective back row player I had. And she was. And then I had my setter who stepped in, and this was her first year playing varsity, which, is kind of nerve-wracking at the same time of, coming into a varsity squad that's had so much success and knowing that almost every single ball has to go through her hands. And she really stepped it up on her end and practiced hard and ended with 931 assists on the year. And then probably my last one would be Gracie Bruna. Gracie's stats did not justify the type of player she is. I think she ended with 195 kills. She was up there in the 300 range of digs, but Gracie put the ball down when we needed her to. And, having an effective front row and defensive players, that's the game of volleyball. If you can have everybody meshing and gelling together like my squad did this year, you're going to put some teams away, and we were able to do that.
And you bring up a good point because you said that you only have, Anna, who was our scholar athlete just a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
She's the only senior. So you bring back probably the whole team next year, really big nucleus. How big will that be? And as a coach, when they know your game style, they know your philosophy, does it make it easier for you when you have that big nucleus, or is it you want to push them even harder because you know what they can do?
It's a little bit of both, having them come back and knowing how I coach and, our overall goal and what we do in practice, it gives more players in practice to be able to step up and say, hey, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to get better. But at the same time, I have to push those girls harder because you coming off a state championship, you have a target on your back. And, with us being 42-1 state championship, we took the TVL tournament. We were number 1 in TVL. Every team looks at us as like, if we beat them, we put down a good team. And, that's where we have to come together and, decide, we have to push harder and we have to get stronger.
And now, for when you look ahead towards next season, I know this is so fresh. Just what excites you about this group coming up next year? Is there something that, you guys can even build upon more? What excites you about what next year can bring? I know it's so fresh, but what could that be for next year?
Girls are already talking. They want another one. When you win a state championship, there is a drive to want to get back there. There's a drive of wanting to feel the energy, wanting to feel the success. And the work ethic that I have in this group is by far, it doesn't compare to any other team I've ever had. And I think, their work ethic and the time that they put in the off season, and I have lots of girls playing club ball, I think it's going to benefit us a lot.
And how fun is it for you, Coach, when go to these big, state tournaments and you win the state championship, right? Obviously, you'll say, hey, this is all about the girls, but you have to enjoy it yourself. Am I right?
I do. I think seeing the joy and the excitement on the kids' faces, all the hours that we put into watching film, doing stats, getting practices together. For me, it's to see the enjoyment at the end of the year on the girls' faces. And, the last 2 years were really hard to look at their faces and know we just lost. But, the 3 state championship, it's the joy and it's the fun and the excitement and the tears of joy that you watch the girls have that just, it makes it all worth it.
Now, when you are getting closer, right, to, the match points, set points, as a coach, do you feel those nerves, or what's that like when you're on the sideline, trying to maybe keep your composure and also have the players keep their composure as well?
It's nerve-wracking. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's just a regular season game or, that state championship game. My girls make fun of me because I get nervous really, really easily. And, I try to feed them positive energy, but, in my head, it's like, gosh, we just have to get it done. We have to do it. We have to do it. But yeah, I mean, it's nerve-wracking all around for everyone.
So, Coach, if people don't know who you are in terms of what your coaching philosophy is and what you expect out of your players and the program that you've built there, what is it about that? If people don't know about your coaching style and who you are, how would you describe that?
I'm a very loud and vocal coach. I mean, I've had a couple, fan bases look at me like, holy cow, she's crazy type of thing. But I just want the girls to not only succeed in volleyball, but know that when times are hard or things aren't going their way, that in life, it's going to happen. And if you can push through on a volleyball court or push through in a sport that you love, you can do it in life yourself. And, we think of, sports of, yeah, it's win, losing, that type of thing, but it's also life lessons. And I feel like as coaches, it's our jobs to instill that into our players. So I really hope that any player that comes through my program can know, things are going to be hard at times, but if you work hard enough and you put the time and the effort into it, you're going to succeed. And that's really like my main goal with my players and what I really hope they take out of everything that they get from me.
And it's something that I'm thinking about too, Coach, and when you've won so many state championships in this 5-year span, how does that feed off into school, right? Obviously it's always fun when any program wins a state championship. What's that energy like when, you go back to school the next week, or just when other teams are playing? What's that like when, one team wins a championship? Does that feed off into the school as well?
I think so. Hanover, we're known for our sports. Our football teams have been really successful. Our basketball teams are successful. And it's kind of nice, like coming in, being that fall sport, that you start off with that success because it feeds into the next thing. So this really helps feed the girls into basketball, but not only basketball, anything they're doing in school, like grades or working hard, just knowing that they have to keep at it. And I really think it does. And I think that's why we're so successful as a program. We have lots of coaches that want to instill that into the players to, work your hardest, put the work into it, and, you're going to be successful.
Well, Coach, I know we went over a lot of different topics and a lot of different things about this season and, again, a state championship. Is there anything else that I'm missing from that state championship run or the season itself or anything else that I'm missing that you'd like to add?
I'm just really proud of this group of girls. It was hard the last 2 years to, make it all the way to that state championship game and just to be a half a step behind Lebo. And I really feel that's what we were. And, we could have just said, okay, it's Lebo, we're going to roll over and let him have it. But, again, these girls took it as their goal. They took it as like, this is where we're going. And they took every single game in the season as this is a stepping stone to get to where we want to go. And they worked hard. And I'm just so proud of them. There's nothing better as a coach to look back on a season and just say, wow, I have that group of girls that I just worked with, and I get most of them back next year. And it's an amazing feeling to me.
Absolutely, Coach. Well, again, I really appreciate you taking the time, and congratulations on another state championship and another ring on your finger. And maybe next year you guys can go back to back once again.
Well, we hope so. That's our goal.
Absolutely, Coach. Thanks so much for taking the time. And again, congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.